everybody. We're here again. It's Atlanta Discuss, Startup and Innovators. That's what we call it. That's the new episode we've just started. We're going to talking about people that slay stereotype, breaking the glass ceiling, doing the extraordinary. They say third world life is difficult, but even at that, if you go to Nairobi, go to Kampala, Uganda, go to Marrakesh in Morocco, Lagos, Nigeria, young people, they're doing the extraordinary things. So we need to encourage them because the future of Africa is in the youth. Statistics have shown us that the population of youth in Africa is far more than 50%. In some cases, 70%. So we need to know what are these youth been doing with their time. It's not all bad news. Political leadership might be lagging in the continent, but the youth are slaying stereotype. We have tech hubs everywhere in the southern part of Nigeria. Youth are doing extraordinary things. So today we have another fantastic, an extraordinary one for that matter. His name is Obafela Killa. Obafela, welcome to Atlanta Discuss Innovators and Startup.
Thank you for bringing me here. So my name is Obafela Killa.
Yeah.
And I'm a healthcare innovator, right?
Oh, fantastic.
As a person, I aim to take Africa to big places, right?
Wow.
Because just as you said, Africa is actually a place of wonderful people, but yet Nigeria is a third world country, and Africa has a lot of third world countries as well, right? Africa is not doing so well, even though we have so many talents in Africa, and it's not entirely the problem of the people, and I wouldn't say it's entirely problem of the government as well. I would say the people and the government, they both have a part to play. But now when we have youths like myself, and maybe even those younger than myself, come up with good talents and they can't get good jobs, or they can't even finish from school on time, they want to go overseas. They want to go to other countries. They want to go to other continents and do good things there, great things there. I've read books about great Black men all over the world, and they did a lot of things in the US, in the UK. But I want to see these things happen in Nigeria. I want to see it happen in different countries in Africa. I want us to be the people we are. It was Nigeria is called the giant of Africa. But as we are now, I don't see us as giants. I see us as potential giants. But right now, we're not showing that potential. We're not really bringing ourselves out there. And that's why I've made it my personal mission to say, I want to stay in Nigeria. I've had opportunities to travel out of Nigeria, but I've declined because I want to make sure I can build this place. I want to have my kids here. I want them to know home. And if they want to go overseas, fine. I want them to know home is safe. They don't have to go overseas because they need a place to survive. I want them to be able to see home and appreciate it, which is why I built two startups. One is an educational tech company or startup, and the other is an health tech startup. The educational tech startup it's called Nexus Data Intelligence. And currently we're building an academy that's going to help the youths to get tech skills. So, instead of putting their talent into things like cybercrime, they can put it into cybersecurity. They can put it into AI, machine learning, because I'm very particular on data. Nigeria, Africa as a whole lacks a whole lot of data, but the US, the UK, they have data on this. They have data on their food, they have data on their agri, their tech, almost everything, while Nigeria lacks a whole lot of data, right? So I want to upskill the youth in that data field. Additionally, we're also going to have personal development skills as well. Want them to be able to communicate better. How can you get contracts with other countries if you cannot communicate with them? How can you get good contracts when you can't even speak proper English? You don't know how to phrase your words. You know what you want, but you don't know how to put it out there in a polite manner, in a manner that shows who you are. You can't speak publicly because either you're shy, you're nervous, you can't take what you want. And to go outside there, to take what you have, there's this thing that's been going around, taking what belongs to Caesar, right? If you want to take the things out there, if you want to make money, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to stand on your own. You have to be able to work with a team. You have to be able to lead or be led, right? And those are the kind of things we're teaching in that educational tech company. And the health tech is a big one. It's a really big one. All over the world, according to statistics, right, which can be referenced as well, 10% of patient deaths worldwide is as a result of diagnostics errors. Yes.
Wow.
Where maybe the doctor gave the wrong diagnostics, right? The wrong diagnosis, I mean. So, and one of the causes of this diagnostic error is medical data fragmentation. Everyone must have had that problem where they go from hospital A to hospital B, and hospital B doesn't have enough information on that patient. So now they have to get the information or the data from hospital A, especially in countries in Africa. In fact, a lot of countries in Africa, Nigeria to be exact, we don't even have hospitals that are technically savvy. They don't even have systems, right? So it's hard for them to even say they want to transfer data. Then they end up using referral forms. And in the course of this, I have witnessed, not heard, not seen online, I've witnessed it with my own eyes where people died because it was an emergency, but the hospital had no knowledge on that person's medical history. They didn't even know as simple as his blood type. Nothing. So if they want to proceed on that patient, they need quick information, and they would need to do tests because they don't have anybody to give them access to those information. And during the course of those tests, patients could die. In fact, the patients sometimes, as I said, I've witnessed them dying because they couldn't get the information quickly. So what I aim to do is to now unify that data in a way where even if your hospital has your data, if you travel to another city, another state, another country, if something happens to you there and it's an emergency, they can quickly access your data and then treat you as quickly as possible. Because it's an emergency, you don't have time to lose to do basic tests here and there. You want to quickly know what's wrong with that patient, know the patient's history. Maybe the patient has a particular disease. The patient has something that you know would affect your surgery, would affect your treatment, would affect the drugs you would prescribe for that patient. You want to know that because that's the little thing that's the little line between life and death in the medical industry. Doctors are not superheroes. They can't read your mind. They're not God. It's from what they've learned and your symptoms that they can say, okay, this is most likely what is wrong with the patient. And sometimes they can be wrong. But what increases the odds that they are right is the information they have on you. And what I'm trying to do now is to make sure the hospitals have enough information on you so we can reduce the amount of people that die every single day.
Oh wow.
That's why.
I love the way you told your story. You know, I was going to introduce you, but I love the way you did it, you know. You know what? I do some mentorship also, and when people ask me what do I advise, I said never allow anybody control your narrative. Tell your story yourself. Wow. Very important. Yeah, very important. I'm reading, you know, part of your profile. I read that you're also a technology community leader in Oyo State, Nigeria,
Yes.
planning to bring
Yes.
things up for the entrepreneurs in the state. Are you domiciled in Oyo State? And what do you mean by
Yes.
a technology community leader in Oyo State? Can you please share that with our viewers?
All right. So there's a community in Ibadan, Ibadan, Oyo State. It's called Ibadan Entrepreneurship Network. And what I'm doing now is I'm now in that network to create a community for tech leaders. Because I personally, in my free time, I mentor tech entrepreneurs, especially those who are trying to achieve something of social impact, right? So what I'm bringing together now is a community of entrepreneurs and some technically savvy people to come together and increase the power of the state. You see, the thing is, the public sector and private sector do not work together a lot. And I want to bridge that. I want us to come together and handle projects. In fact, we had a meeting late last year, 2024, with the director of ICT for your state and some other stakeholders. And we spoke about how the private sector can come in and start to work with the public sector, where the public sector can support the private sector, which will also enable the private sector to support the public sector, right? Because when you can do this, the country starts to move forward. I don't expect all the funds to come from the government. I believe the private sector, the public sector can work hand in hand. There are some basic things that people in the private sector want to do, and it's the government even stopping them. And there's some things the public sector needs, and they can get it from the private sector. And yet they are not doing that. They're not bridging that gap. Earlier, I spoke about my healthcare initiative, where I want to make sure healthcare is accessible to everyone as quick as possible. Now, you see, one of the problems I'm facing is a lot of government hospitals, they don't have technology. they're still using paper systems. So now how do I say this paper will easily be transferred to another state or another country? So that means now I have to now use the power of the private sector to build the public sector government hospitals and make sure they're technically savvy. Even if it's just, oh, okay, I bring 2 or 3 companies together. We're going to work together. We're going to split the funds. We'll pay it for the government, and the government will pay us back in a matter of months, right? Those are the kind of things I want to do so that the government hospitals can now be empowered. And that's what I do as a technology community leader in Oyo State. I'm building the community for entrepreneurs to come together and be able to work with the public sector and make sure that it benefits both parties, not just benefiting the private, not just benefiting the public, but benefiting both parties so we can continue to improve. And once it can work in Oyo State, I'm very sure that if I don't do it personally, other people will pick it up in other states. And then from there, Nigeria will grow. And when other countries see that as well, they will say, these countries are doing this. Let's join in on that too. And just from those little steps, things start to move forward. That's what I do as a technology community leader.
Interesting. So let's talk about Nexus data intelligence. I mean, I'm actually it's something I'm interested in. I'm just reading that you said this is an ed tech company. We are currently building an academy that will aid African youth in developing tech skills related to data analytics and artificial intelligence. Can you shed more light on this? Is it an ongoing thing or you're just starting? And if it's ongoing, what has been done so far? What have you achieved so far?
So the thing is, Nexus Data Intelligence EdTech company, and we have provided some courses for the youths in Nigeria per se.
Okay.
But I realized it was not enough. We weren't really moving fast enough. We couldn't say, okay, let's have classes with 20, let's have courses with 20 people this month. Have another course with some other amount of people in the next 6 months or the next year. I wanted to build something that would actually bring people together. So last year, what we did is that we had some courses for data analytics and UI UX, right? So, and these courses went well. In fact, I think we had some people joining from the US, UK, and I think Canada, if I'm correct. And it went well, but it was not enough. So then I decided that we're going to build an academy. So though we have already started, in a way, the academy is ongoing, but Nexus has been around for a while now. Not so long, but we're going to our 3rd year now. The academy itself will be launched this year. So this academy makes it easier for people. We're not going to say, okay, pay for this course, do this or do that. What we're doing now is we're putting the academy online. You come to the academy, you pay what you can pay. And of course, we're also considering offering sponsorship, maybe 50%, maybe even 100% sponsorship to African youths. But the academy is meant to build Africans in the ways of data and AI. As I mentioned earlier, we do not have enough data in Africa. And if most people can start to become more data savvy, right? You know how to use your data, you know how to protect your data, you know what to keep, and you know where to keep it. It starts to help to build our data. We will start to have resources, because one thing about data is it gives us access to our history. Once we know for the past 5 years, this is how the finance has been going. The past 5 years, this is how this sector has been doing. And these are the particular things in that sector that have been going down or going up. Now we know what to address and we know how to move forward. And with data comes AI. Because when you have the data, you're also going to have machine learning and AI models. Of course, you can stop at data, but the world is moving forward. And the point of what we're doing in Africa is to move Africa forward. We don't want to say, okay, let's do the things everybody has done. Let's just initiate it now. We want to also bring the world to that level of AI. In fact, just recently, China released their own AI model that some people would say it's beating the US AI models, right? I don't want Nigeria to then come up with their own specific AI model in 20 years. Why can't we do it in 2 or 3 years? In fact, why can't we do it this year? I don't know. I wouldn't say we can do it this year, but I never say never. I believe when we teach these youths, they'll be able to do it. Because now the people in cybercrime, they learn things like how to change their face, how to change their voice, just to steal money from the rich. And even the ones that are not rich, they steal money from them as well. So why can't you use those same skills and upgrade your country? It's because they're not seeing job opportunities there. In fact, some of them do these things and yet they still are not able to make money. So what we're doing now is we're giving them the opportunity to join our academy, get these skills. And for those that get these skills, since I'm working with the government, we put it forward to the government that these are the people that have learned this and that. And as the collaboration we have with private and public sector, let these people defend our data. Now, these people will see a job opportunity. Now, those that, because they know it's risky, they themselves know what they're doing is risky, but they're doing it because they feel that's their own way out. Aside from those who I admit, I believe some of them are just greedy. But there are some people, they have no way out and they just want to do it just to take care of their family. But now they know that they can work with the government and get a decent pay. And then there's no risk. Nobody's going to come to your house and arrest you or kill you or anything like that because you're working and you are protecting your country. I mean, well, that's a whole other thing. Maybe a war or something like that. But it's something much safer than going into cybercrime, than hurting the life of other people. And that's what the whole academy is about. We're bringing these skill sets to people, be it tech skills, be it communication skills. Because an honest truth is a lot of people battle with communication in, well, let me say Nigeria. I know there are other countries in Africa, but I'm going to mention the Nigeria I'm in, right? I'm not going to talk about other countries. My own country, I know that we have a lot of people that battle with communication. So I know we have a lot of people as well. We have a good percentage of people who can communicate properly in English language, but a lot of youths, they can't even afford the money to go to school. So they battle with things like this. So we want them to be better with their communication. We want to communicate them with tutors. I'm partnered with some companies who tutor the youth in diction, the right pronunciations of words, everything. We want to bring it to them. The personal development, what to study, where to get free tools. For you that don't have money, you don't have money and you think, oh, that means I cannot learn this tech skill. There are free tools out there. I personally have used a lot of free tools. I've gotten a lot of scholarships. There's Ingressive for Good that they give out good scholarships. Go and do these things. So we want to tell them about these opportunities. For businesses, there are grants. There's everything out there. You just need to know it's out there and know how to take it. So we want to bring this opportunity to them through the academy.
Fantastic. I mean, I just love what you're saying. I'm so impressed. I see that you're affiliated with what you call it, Microsoft. What exactly are you doing with Microsoft?
Yes. So the Microsoft, it's Microsoft for startups, and they are supporting our health tech initiative, right? So for now, it's a basic affiliation, which in turn, when the company does more, we look forward to it becoming much more of a partnership where we work hand in hand. So right now, it's more of Microsoft helping us than what we do with Microsoft, right? So Microsoft has provided us with funds, they provided us with products to do some certain things to make sure our projects can come to fruition. And they've also provided us access to some tools to learn and also some of their team members. So in case we're having a problem with our launch or an initiative or a code, we can reach out to a Microsoft team member where we can actually sit down virtually and then have a discussion. Oh, why is our program not working? Why is our product not working? What ways do you think we can do to improve this thing? So that's what's going on now. The affiliation is more of Microsoft supporting us to get to our destination. And once we can get to a certain destination, we want to do more with Microsoft.
So do you have any success story that you can share with us on startups you've worked with that you can refer to right now?
I think I would need more clarification on that because you said startups have worked with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, startups that you've helped with, maybe you can refer to them. You help social company startup, you help this young guy startup, as in any success story that you can talk about.
Okay, so I've mentored at least five startups. I know that they're now moving. I've mentored more than that, but there are 5 people I know that they're starting to move, and some have even launched already.
Oh, wow.
The one I really love right now is my PDM tutor.
Oh, okay.
So my PDM tutor, the PDM starts for Python, data, and machine learning. So what my PDM tutor is doing now is to bring to especially Nigerian students for now, university students, and maybe even those in secondary school. They're bringing this platform to them that is gamified, where they can learn at a cheaper cost than they would learn outside. So it's a gamified way of learning where they have coins. It's a very, very interesting thing. And I really can't wait for their launch, which is actually happening this year. And it's,
Wow.
you know, what can really give justice to it?
Mhm.
I think it's something that when it's launched, I can, you know, share with you for you to see. But it's a whole
Okay.
gamified experience, and it helps
Fantastic.
people to, especially those who cannot really afford those high level courses. Now
Mhm.
they have access to it for a cheaper amount of money, and by gamified experience to make them understand what they're learning better.
Oh, wow. Wow. So I also read that you're a volunteer on the Harvard peer review or something like that, you know. So
Yes,
what are you doing with
about business
Harvard?
review.
Harvard Business
So
Review.
yeah, so basically, there are some documentations, or should
Mm,
I say some write-ups that come out every week, right?
mm,
So what we do is that we can actually review the write-up. So
mm,
it's not something that is it's not something that I would put in the highest regard. It's a very good thing, but it's not a paid role.
mm.
It's something
Okay.
that when you join them, when you're accepted, they will let you know that okay, this is not a thing of merit, which is why I'm
Mm,
careful with what I'm saying. It's not a thing
mhm,
that I merited. It's
mm,
something that once you are with them on their platform and you can apply for it, if you're accepted, you're accepted. If you're not
mm,
accepted, you are not accepted. But what it gives you access to is a lot of their writings and the things they post about business out there.
mm. Interesting. Interesting. So where do you see Nexus data in the next 10, 15 years?
10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm. That's your
In the next
projection.
10, 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
yes, in the next 10, 15 years, I actually see us moving to at least 10 African countries
Oh, wow.
because, yeah, because this is something that I'm really putting a whole lot of pressure on. And it's something that I know is going to be very, very beneficial. And the thing about educational technology companies is that they can easily scale. It's a
Mm,
matter of telling people you can, by doing an ad online, you know, you tell people that, oh, look at our platform, sign up and pay this amount of money. You know, so other people in other countries can see it easily. Just sign up. It's like Google
mm,
or the Zoom we're using right now. You
mm-hmm.
just simply have to go to their website and create an account. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy, right? And that's why I really see going that far in 10 to 15 years. I see making impact. I see a lot of people benefiting from it because that's really my goal.
Mm,
I've seen some youth. I've seen a particular youth tell me one day. He said he was going to. He said if in the next 2 years he has not been able to make money, he would rather do withdrawal.
mm,
He would rather kill for money. He said it's better if he knows that in the next 5 years he will have money and then maybe die after doing the bad things he has done, than him not knowing if in the next 5 years he will not have money at all. I want to change that mindset.
mm,
So in the past 10 to 15, in the next 10 to 15 years, those are the things I see myself doing. I want to see more youths stepping up that they want to do A, B, C, and D, right? I'm not going to go into my age now, but at the age of 13, I started coding, right?
oh, wow.
And 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 for a Nigerian, overseas, it might not really be the biggest deal, but
Mm,
for a Nigerian, it was a big deal to me. And one of the things that led me to that is my love for computers. So
mm,
I want to see more youths like that. Because nowadays I see youths like 13, 12, even 15. What they're concerned about is their phone, what's happening online. And I know these things can also bring money, but what I want is youth making impact, not just I'm posting online. If you're posting online, you're not using those posts to make impact, then what's the point, right? You're just
mm,
putting money into your own pockets. You're not trying to help the people out there. So
mm,
I want to see more youths making impact. I want to see students in JSS1 class in their first year of secondary school saying, oh, they want to do things like technology, or they saw something online, they want to understand it better, they want to learn. I want to see the My PDM tutor that is launching soon come to secondary school students. So even
mm,
before they leave secondary school, they already have an idea of what's going on out there. Now, I'm not saying they have to go to school to learn a tech skill, but I want them to just know what's going on out there. If it's tech you want to learn, fine. If it's something financial, fine. If you want to become a lawyer, fine. But I want more youth stepping up to create impact in their country so that we can all be comfortable saying, my child is going to live here. I know a former, it's not a commissioner, but he's a politician. I can't remember his role. And he told me, he said he wants to fight for Nigeria a lot. And he said he is, and he will continue to fight. Then he looked me in the eye. This was last year. He said, sorry, that was actually 2 years ago. He looked me in the eye. He said, though he's fighting for the country, but before the end of this year, he's not sure if his own son will still be in the country. because that's how crazy it is. Because those that have kids don't know if their kids are even safe. I heard recently there was a university, which I'm not going to mention, because I don't know if it's okay for me to mention it. But there was a university where a boy stabbed another boy. I think they were in their second year of university. And I think it was a small field over some, it was a small field. It wasn't even something to stab someone over. I don't want to hear news like that in Nigeria. I don't want to hear news like that in Africa. To be honest, I don't want to hear news like that anywhere in the world. I want to hear young people are doing it. I want to see a boy that is 16 or 18 doing great things. I want to see a girl breaking barriers. And people will be like, but she's a female. And yes, she's a female and she's doing things. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's really my aim in the next 10 to 15 years.
So you said you see yourself moving to 10 African countries. Do you have those countries in mind? Let me just pick your brain on that. What am I saying?
Well, though this is something that I would say, I don't really think this is a problem. There's this whole thing about Nigerian versus South Africa.
Okay.
Right. And
so that's automatic. That's automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want South Africa to be one of those
okay, that's
countries,
one.
right?
That's one.
No matter what. So Nigeria, of course, one. South Africa, what's the name of this company? Egypt, of this country, Egypt. That's 3. Ethiopia, that's 4. Because I met someone from Ethiopia and it was really nice. And I can't remember what his company is doing, but he's doing something really great. And he even won a grant of, I think, $5,000 or something. I'm not sure, but it was doing really great.
I'd love to meet that person.
Oh, definitely. I would share his details after this. So I really love to visit Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Cameroon is 5.
Okay.
And there are others, but it's not really in my
Kenya.
Yeah, well, yeah, Kenya is on my list. I don't know how I'm going to be perceived when I get there. But Kenya is definitely on my list.
They are doing well in tech. It's a strong tech hub, especially with all
exactly.
online.
Which is why I'm not really sure. They might say, okay, they already have enough going on there. I might still try. It's not even might. I will still try to penetrate that market. But if they already have enough going on there, then I should be able to trust that, okay, I'm doing this thing for Africa. It's not a matter of competition. It's not a matter of I'm trying to make sure that I make the best or the biggest amount of money, right? It's a matter of creating impact. So if I get to Kenya and I see, there's impact here,
the job
I
is
might
been
just
done
say,
already.
exactly, let's go to the next, right? There's no need for competition. I don't want to create something that is really competitive. And though I know it's a very competitive space, the startup space, but I'm really looking to collaboration. Even if it's another edtech. Edtech, for example, there's an edtech in Nigeria that wants to cater to children under, I think, 18 and under, and they want to have a partnership with Nexus, right? And though we finalized the partnership, we've not finalized it on paper yet. And that's what I like, collaboration, right? So, but if I get somewhere and I see that, the energy is a bit competitive, then, I'll just take my leave, right? Because if there's impact going on there, then there's no need for me. If I still try to penetrate, then that's no longer for impact. That's just me wanting to make money for my company, right? So yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned Benin, right?
I was just gonna tell you there. That's Benin Republic, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that Ghana and Ivory Coast also.
Yeah, I mentioned Ghana already, didn't I?
No, you did not. No, you did not.
Oh, Ghana, really? Wow. Wow. I thought I mentioned it right after.
I was going to reel out 3 West African countries to you now. That's Benin. I was going to say Benin, Ghana, and Ivory Coast. And possibly Senegal. They are aspiring technologically. Yeah. So they will be fantastic. So tell me, everything you are doing in health, for example, I know there's so much complex regulatory landscape in the health sector. What are the obstacles, especially in the health sector? Do you have any obstacles, that you're encountering at the moment that's making the hurdles you come across, trying to achieve what you want to achieve?
Number one is acceptance, especially on the government side. What do I mean? What I'm trying to build is something that is going to make your data more accessible to hospitals. And though it is secure, but because I'm a new person in the space, though I've been in the health tech industry for, let's say, 4 years now, but not not in everybody's faces. Where it's like saying, oh, Dangote wants to do this. Everybody knows Dangote, right? The richest African man, right? The richest, I think, black man even in the world, right? Uh, but when it's that guy from Nigeria, who's this guy? How do we know our information is safe with him? Even when it came to Facebook, they had to be taken to court and all those things. Oh, our data is not safe with you, right? And that's one of the problems I'm facing, right? There has to be this acceptance where we can tell the public and they can trust us that, okay, these people are not taking advantage of our data. They are not misusing it, and it's only for our benefits to make sure if ever we are caught in an emergency, it would not be our last. So one problem is that the acceptance of using data. So that's data regulatories. If I were to put it in a sentence, data regulatories, and to be honest, that's really the main problem. Another problem I might be able to say is collaboration, right? But I think I'm already bridging that challenge. So I'll speak a bit more on it though. Collaboration in the sense that in the health tech industry, it seems every company is seeing themselves as a competitor because now company A services 10 hospitals with their software, right? Company B services another 10 hospitals with their own software. Now, they're not going to say they want to work together because now it seems, do you want to take my clients away from me? You want to take your data into that person's data? What if my client says they want to change? And it's really caused a lot of issues because someone has asked me that before, that why should I give you my data? And the funny thing is, I'm not even a competitor. I'm just a middleman. That's what my company is supposed to do. I'm a middleman. I'm supposed to connect company A to company B to C to D. Right? And yet I was asked that question and I laughed at first, right? So though now I'm already bridging that gap, there are incentives for people that will be joining us. And in fact, I'm already finalizing a partnership with one company already, and hopefully, and 3 more are in the works, right? So bringing them on board will give me access to, let's say, at least 30 to 40 hospitals, and maybe even times 2 of that, right? So I think that's already been bridged. But it was an initial problem, an initial challenge that I had to face.
Oh, wow. So as we conclude, we go to leadership and personal growth now, and I'm
Okay.
really interested in that. I
All
want
right.
to know your leadership lessons, what you've learned, throughout your journey, and how do you apply them to your role as CEO? I'm sure there are a lot of people that are watching this that want to learn from you, and people that even who are par with you that want to hear from you, So what are your lessons,
Yeah.
that you learned as your journey progressed?
Give me a second here.
Yeah. Take your time.
Lessons on leadership. You see, the honest truth about leadership is it's hard. It's very, very hard. I try as much as possible to wake up very early, and then I sleep very late. Sometimes I could sleep 5 a.m. and I'm up by 7 a.m., 8 a.m., just so that I can quickly converse with my team. And any problems they've had during the day, at night, I start to break down the problems I couldn't solve at the first glance, right? I start to break down those problems at night. So when it's morning, I can quickly give them solutions to those problems. To be a leader, sometimes everybody looks at you like you have to have the answer. It's like being a parent. Your kids look up to you that, daddy, do you know this? Daddy does not know everything. As a leader, sometimes I want to tell my team member, I don't know. I don't know. But I just look at it and I'm like, you know what, I'll get back to you on this, but just do this, do that. So one of the hard parts about leadership is that sometimes you don't know everything. It's not even sometimes you don't know everything, and you have to just deal with that. But the thing about leadership is that a lot of people depend on you. And for me, I like it. I like the fact that when I know that, okay, people are depending on me, it pushes me to grow. Because now I can't even afford to be lazy because I know these people are going to ask me questions and I better know the answers to those questions. I know that I'm now leading people. And there's this thing the Bible says where God should lead you and then you should also follow God. And those people following you too as well, because they're following you and you're following God. indirectly they are following God as well. So as a leader, if I fall, I might cause the people behind me to stumble as well. So it's a huge responsibility. And I don't want to fail them. And because I don't want to fail them, I constantly develop myself. Every single day of my life, I make sure that I was better than yesterday. Just yesterday, I had a virtual event. And today I'm here, right? I'm exhausted, but I have to be here. And then once this podcast is over, I'm going to share with those I lead. They will be inspired as well. In fact, some of them might even ask me to be connected with you so they can have one. Those are the things I want to do. I want to inspire my team. I want to inspire those that are inspired by me. Someone told me just a few days ago and said, I am so inspired by you. And this is what I told her. She's a female. And I told her that that's great. I really love that. But I want you to do one thing for me. Is that possible? And she said, yeah, of course. What's that? And I told her that I want you to also grow. I want you to develop so that as you get older, people will also look at you and follow your leadership and tell you they're inspired by you. Because that's the best thing I could ask for. I want to be a leader in a way that there's this thing I always say that even in death, I will continue to live on. That's how good of a leader I want to become. That even in death, because of the people I've led, they will lead other people and they will say, if you remember my leader. And the other people they will lead, we tell them, my leader used to talk about his own leader. I want to live on. So people really see the impact and follow the example and build on it. And as a leader, you also have to have vision. You have to have vision. I don't expect a leader to know everything, but at least have vision. Because I have a rule of I don't need to see the whole part. As long as I can see the next step, I'm going. And from the next step, I trust that I will see the next step. But at least you have to be able to see that next step. You have to be able to lead people and tell them with boldness that you know what you're doing. Even sometimes when you don't know what you're doing, that's the hard part about being a leader. You yourself, you don't know, you might not even know if this thing is going to work. You just have that belief, you have that faith. I know there's something here. So you guys follow me so we can get this thing here. And together we will be remembered.
It's
very
ask
hard
you
to
this.
be a leader.
Yeah, let me ask you that. Are you a man of faith? Are you like a Christian or Muslim?
I'm a man of faith. I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian. Oh, fantastic. I love it. So what are your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time? Polo, golf, pool, athletics, run, gym? What do you do?
You see, I don't have much free time, but the little free time I get, I'm athletic. I go for a run every morning. I try my best to go for a run every morning, as long as it's not an hectic morning. And aside running, because when I was younger, I used to run in school and all that. I love to run. It relieves me of my stress. There's just this burden that gets off me when I run. It's a thing where if I'm stressed at work, just take a break, go for a run, and it just relieves me. Another thing I love to do is reading. I'm a big nerd. A lot of people have told me I don't look like it, but I read a lot of books. Psychology of Money, Atomic Habits, Richest Man in Babylon, The Lean Startup. I read a whole lot of books. And of course, there's also some times where I just read novels for fun, maybe romance or action or fantasy. I like to read that too in my spare time. And once in a while, I also watch movies. Although I don't have enough time for that. But yeah, I watch movies. So anime. I think a lot of people watching this should know what anime is. I watch anime. It's something great. It's very great. And each episode is about 20 minutes. So it's a very good thing for my break. I know, okay, I have 25 minutes break. Let's watch one episode. And then, we're done. And we get back to work. Yeah.
You know what I'm enjoying flowing with you? The next question was going to be what books do you read? You already answered it for me. So I really like that. We're really in spirit. And that's what we're trying to achieve, showing that there are young people doing great things. And, to our viewers, we're talking to Obafela Killa, yes, the founder, CEO of Nexus Data, data intelligence, doing a great job. He's also affiliated with Microsoft for startups. We've said that much. Driving healthcare innovation in Oyo State, and we intend to expand to 10 African countries or possibly even more. Is a volunteer advisory council member of the Harvard Business Review, and so on and so forth. So we're proud of you. We're proud of what you're doing. Keep the flag flying, and I'm sure we'll get back to you shortly for more things. There are so many areas we can partner with the youth's idleness is a dangerous thing, indolence is
Yes.
a dangerous thing. Indolence in this regard is mental laziness. And I like the fact that you're showing leadership. I've been in a situation where I gave up on Nigeria, and I can tell you that my hope has been rekindled. And if you ask me why, with people like you're not thinking of migrating abroad. You want to do justice at home. And I think the future of Nigeria is bright with you. Thank you very much, Obafela Killa, for for coming to Startup and Innovators and Atlanta Discuss. To our viewers, you heard from the horse's mouth. Great guy, fantastic guy. I love the way he tells the story. I'm sure you admire it also. It's almost impossible for him to pitch you on anything that you don't say no. So your state government, if you can hear no story, give Obafela everything he wants. Ogun State, if you're there, Imo, all those states. This guy has solution to all your health issues technologically. So that if somebody who lives in Oyo State drives to Abuja or Enugu and has a car accident, you just have to go online to check his health history. For example, the kind of blood to administer and so on and so forth. So nothing is impossible. Nigeria is going to be great again. And that's a wrap there. Thank you. Obafela, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. We'll support you. We are already supporting you in any way possible. And hopefully in 10 to 15 years time, if we're all still alive, maybe that'll be a joy and hope or something. Something we're all very proud of. To our listeners and all our viewers, thank you so much for your loyalty. Like I always say, it's a wrap there. Don't worry, I'll bring Davida back again. I'm sure if we bring her back 6 months' time, the Nigeria Transformation Council will have so much to show at that time. It's new, but they've started very well. They're talking to the right people. They have a good team, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. It's never too much for Nigeria. Thank you, Davida.